Hey everybody, this is Reza.
This is Sandy.
Welcome back to episode 28 of the Stone Cold Sober podcast.
Welcome back, everybody.
Good to be
Hope
back.
you had a great week. Yeah, how was your week?
It was good, man. You know, second full week here in Seattle. Good week of work. A little bit. I feel like I didn't make as much noticeable progress on my project, but I had a lot of bug fixes to like special cases for the project that I'm working on. So I was able to make a lot of progress on that. Been keeping my boss was actually sick from Wednesday to Friday, so he wasn't in the office. So I'll meet with him on Monday, give him my updates and everything like that. But I think I made a lot of progress.
I hope whatever he's sick with is not contagious.
What's funny is the day before he left, there was I was in the cafeteria or like the kitchen, and there was another woman who was there. She was talking about how she had just gotten over her sickness. You know, she may have still had some symptoms, I guess, but she was saying how she was just getting over it. And he was like, well, you know, he's laughing, making jokes. He's like, well, if I get sick, I know who to blame. Next day he's out. I'm like, shit. I'm next, Sandy. I'm next. I don't want to get sick in summer.
Exactly. Summer sickness is the worst.
Yeah.
It's like, I can understand if wintertime you're sick, springtime you're sick, like even fall you're sick.
Yeah.
You're going to get sick in the summertime, like there's literally no time to waste.
It's a bad time to get sick, man. It's a really bad time to get sick.
Definitely, dude. Worst time to get sick.
Like it just doesn't to me to my body. I feel like that doesn't make any sense to get sick in the summer. Like you get sick, you get a runny nose, you cough, you have the sniffles, you're sneezing all the time in the winter only. And I don't like getting sick in the springtime. So getting sick in the summer, it's a bad look. And there's always stuff that people are trying to do in the summer, you know? You get sick, all of a sudden you got to cancel plans. You can't make it to this event or that outing.
Totally. It's like I said, it's the absolute worst.
Yep. Worst. As in that Drake song.
Oh my God. Can we talk about Drake real quick and how we've decided with the vengeance that Drake is actually not the worst rapper?
How is this? Is that what we discussed?
Well, weren't we listening to what's it called? His first mixtape.
It was actually his third mixtape. We were listening to his third. We were listening to So Far Gone. It's funny because it was random. I don't what the hell happened. What happened that we decided that we were going to start listening?
I think I was
to
telling you
Drake.
about my rap playlist that I've created.
Oh yeah.
Where
yeah.
it's like I've got two rap playlists, right? I got one that's like mostly singles, stuff that I listen to on the way to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bobby Shmurda.
I was gonna say Bobby Shmurda. Bump that in the elevator.
Bobby Shmurda gets me going. You know this. But this other quote unquote work rap one that I have is more just full albums. And I've got about like 20-ish albums of, let's see, I've got Drake, I've got
Lupe.
Yeah, right.
Kanye.
Drake, Kanye, J. Cole, Big Sean, T.I., Lupe, K. Dot. And it's just their full albums because their albums generally overall are very good.
Yeah.
And I didn't put every single album of every artist, just the ones that I really liked, so that
Right.
when I hit shuffle, like I never have to worry about running out of songs because I always know there's something coming up.
Yeah.
I think that's how we got under Drake, just like going back to his older stuff and be like, oh, like this is my favorite song on this mixtape, this is my favorite song on that mixtape.
So what you're telling me is that Lupe Fiasco's Lasers is not on that playlist.
I'm telling you that Lasers wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it definitely isn't my top. I think my top albums for Lupe are definitely The Cool and Food and Liquor.
Okay, yeah. I really like Food and Liquor
3, Food and Liquor 2 was decent. It has definitely some really good songs, like Audubon Ballroom was one of my favorites on that album. Yeah. Just the fact that like Lupe's wordplay almost unparalleled.
Yeah, I mean even his newest CD, Tetsuo on Youth, great CD.
Tetsuo.
I haven't listened. I haven't listened to it in full in a little bit. Maybe that'll be my CD this
Yeah.
week. I feel like every week I feel like I fucked up the whole schedule that we do. We usually discuss our albums late, and now we're opening with it, but that's fine.
That's fine.
But yeah, great CD. That'll be the
Consider
CD
it
that I
a
listen to
teaser
this
for
week.
the other stuff that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, right.
Um,
We're teasing.
but yeah, go ahead.
What was actually I did listen to one song on this CD earlier this week. I think it came up on Spotify. What's the one? Adoration of Magi. Where you know this the I was thinking about the video when it came on.
Oh my god.
I was like saying, is
I
this
don't know.
video not safe for work? Because it looked like it's not safe. Yeah, it's not safe for work. I'm closing it.
I was like, you asked me, is this not safe for work? Goes, yup.
I was like, all right, let me just double check that real quick. Okay, yeah, not safe for work. I have to close that down. Shut the whole thing down. I never finished watching that video.
No? It's good. It's good. How creepy can I say that? Oh, it's good.
It sounded kind of creepy. Yeah, it was that you got the job done on the first try. Good job.
Nice.
Good job.
Yeah, though it's what else? So yeah, so work was pretty good, and you said you met your cousins?
Yeah, so I met up with my cousin. Actually, so before that, this week I ran home from work.
Oh, that's
once.
right.
I should have done it twice. It's a little awkward though, because I was describing it to you, I think over chat, because I take a backpack with me to work, right? And I have
What
my
kind of
like,
backpack
workout
is it,
clothes.
though?
It's
Is
just
it
like a
like a big
school
backpack?
backpack. It's like a normal, yeah. It's the backpack that I use every day when I go to school, basically.
How do you run in that,
It's
dude?
the backpack that I took with us to Brazil. I had that backpack.
Oh, Jesus.
So I have my like gym clothes in it. I don't really have too much else in it. I bring my lunch in it, and I bring my gym clothes in it, like a couple notebooks or whatever, right? But then when I leave, I have to put my clothes into the backpack to take home with me, and that involves my jeans, it involves my shirt and stuff. So it adds a couple extra pounds into my backpack, and it's a little bulky. So when I'm running, it doesn't like strap at like the waist. So I have to hold it, otherwise it's gonna be bouncing and jangling the whole way home, right?
Right. That's no bueno.
Also, I have to put like a bunch of the stuff that are in my pockets into the backpack, because I don't want I'm not gonna run around with like my wallet, flat around in my pockets. It could fall out or whatever. So I put that in my backpack, just a few things. But again, just adds to the unwieldiness of this backpack. So the way I run with it is I keep my thumbs kind of just locked underneath the straps to hold it down, and and obviously that means that I can't get like the full arm swing when I'm running. I'm just sitting here like imitating this as if the people could see it, but I know they can't. But I have my arms tucked, and I can still kind of like sway. So I get like my elbows and shoulders are definitely going, but my arms aren't coming all the way up and back. But I do get a good range on my elbows at least.
Yeah, that's like the worst running situation you can find yourself in. In my
it is not the worst. Like you'll see people run like
your
that.
Full range of motion is compromised.
It is, but it's not like it's not the most uncomfortable thing that I've done either. So it's not like as I'm running, it's not uncomfortable at all. The uncomfortable part is really having the bag on my back, like especially if there was more weight in it. It's really not too heavy. Like it didn't bother me too much when I was running. So overall, it was fine. It's almost 4 miles between my office and home. I didn't run the whole thing. I think I probably ran like 3 miles of it. But the crazy thing is that I got home faster than taking the bus home. And I should point out, so if I were to take the bus, I would have to take 2 buses. The first bus basically picks me up right outside my office and takes me to the second bus stop. I don't take that bus. There's a lot of traffic on the road outside my office, and if I walked over like 2 stops or whatever, I can get a different bus probably from there. But I just walk. Mm-hmm. It's about a mile to the first bus stop, so I walk that first mile to the bus stop, and then I take that bus home. So that's like 25 minutes to get there because of traffic lights, and then that second bus, sometimes I have to wait for it. It might not be there, so say I have to wait like 5 to 10 minutes for that bus, and then we have to go through traffic to get back home. By the time all that's over, it's about an hour at least between the time when I left my office to the time that I walk in the front door. Now, with all the walking that I did on this run home, it took me less than an hour to get home. So I beat myself home had I taken the bus. So I think that was kind of crazy. I could walk home and do the whole walk in about an hour and 15. So I'd be able to walk home in less time. So I'm thinking that I want to walk home at least. So like if I'm not going to run, I want to walk home at least once, maybe twice a week. I definitely want to run like at least twice a week too. So say I walk once, run twice, something like that.
Okay.
Because I haven't joined a gym. There's one gym that's close to me, and it's kind of expensive to join. So I don't think I'll be doing like much lifting while I'm out here. So I have to keep on my game. Now, also Ramadan started this past week, and I haven't fasted yet. I don't think I'm going to do it this year, which would be a first for me.
Wait. You're just gonna opt out like that?
It's a personal decision. Yeah.
You make it sound so casual. I didn't know you could just like be casual about that.
I'm gonna DNP myself. I'm gonna DNP myself this year. I think. Yeah. I mean, you know me, right? Like I'm not the most religious person. There are like certain rules that I follow. Like I don't eat pork. I fast. I don't drink. But a lot of these are like kind of like. So I'll say of those three, the one that I really follow that I don't even know why I follow is I don't eat pork, and it's mostly because I haven't eaten pork like ever. So I just figure why start now.
Because it's delicious.
You tell yourself that, Sandy. I wouldn't know.
I guess living your life in that sort of ignorance is one way to live your life. That's all I'm gonna say. No, that totally makes sense. That's fine.
Yeah, no, and there are just certain things that I'd like. I keep doing them just because I've been doing them the whole time. But I'm not like the most religious person in the world either. So, when it comes to the whole fasting thing, it's like I fast. I fast year after year. It's a thing I've done with my family and stuff. I don't know. I just do it. I've been doing it for forever. So to not do it, it's not like I feel some deep I don't feel like I am letting my religion down. We'll say that.
Okay.
By not doing it.
As long as you're within the confines, I understood more when you were in Ohio, like working in the fields. Like, dude, if you're gonna fast, you will die.
Yeah. I
Like,
took that
actually
week.
die.
I took that week off, but yeah, otherwise I did it the whole time. Yeah, what's interesting is the days are long here in Seattle. So if I were to do it here, like the sun, we went to the movies yesterday. We left the movies like at 9:15, 9:20. It's still light outside. It's insane. Like if I were to fast, I don't think I'd be able to eat dinner until like 10 p.m. It's not really feasible or reasonable for me to do that because some days when I'm working, I'm going to bed at that time. I'd be done. Like if I get home from work, I eat lunch late while I'm here. So, or in general, really, I like to eat lunch a little late. So I'm eating lunch like at 2:00 in the afternoon. Maybe I'm not eating big enough lunch because by the time I get home, like at 6, I'm starving. So I just make my food and I eat, And
that totally makes sense.
If I were fasting and I couldn't eat for 4 hours after that, I don't know what I would do. I'd really screw with my sleep schedule. Like that's the reason why I'm not doing it. I'd really screw with all types of schedules, and it's not a good time for me to do it. Yeah, like if I were home, I would do it. But right now, it's really not a great time for me to do it. I feel like I know 100% that my productivity goes down by a good bit when I'm fasting at work, and I don't want to do that here. Like I need to make sure I'm on my A game. So that's the reason. It's not like I'm doing it because I'm lazy. I don't really want to. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say I'm lazy. I don't really want to. Like I could do it if I really put my mind to it, but I just feel like it's a burden that it's a burden that I'm willing to give up this year. That's what it is.
Let me ask you a question. Is this internship one of those things where after your time here, if they really like you, they can extend you a full-time offer?
I don't think so because I still have to graduate, and I won't be able to graduate for at least another year. So they could if they really like me, I could apply to them after I graduate, and they can hire me then. But I don't think there's any way that they would be able to like pull me away from my PhD unless I could theoretically work. Because I don't have to take any more classes at home. So, like, I could technically do my thesis from here, but I don't think I'm willing to do that.
Okay.
They'd have to offer me a lot of money to get me to do that, I think.
Do you feel like they're in a position to offer you that kind of money?
I'm not sure. Too early to say, I guess. I think the company's doing pretty well. From what I've heard from the other interns, they're a bit understaffed, but they've had like a lot of interviews looking for people. I think they're a small company. I think they look for a lot of people with experience.
Right.
They
Makes
don't really
sense.
want people right out of college. So like they're obviously not hiring undergrads. Most of the people there are PhDs or have they're non PhDs with experience. So they, even if they like me, they still may want me to have some experience before they'd be willing to offer me any type of full time position. Because
Understood.
a lot of the people there have a lot of responsibilities. They don't. It's the people there seem like they all know what they're doing, even though some of them have only been there for like a couple of months. They seem like they know what they're doing. They know how to interact with their clients or collaborators, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They really know what they're doing, and
Okay.
I still feel
Yeah,
like
I'm
I'm
just
very
wondering
much yeah.
what the process is like for someone in your quote line of work.
Gotcha. So yeah, I was also saying like so I met up with my cousin on Thursday
Oh, cool.
night.
Right, right. How
Yeah,
was
so
that?
it was great. So we got dinner at this little Italian place. I don't remember the name of the place, but I found it on TripAdvisor. It was really good. I got like this it's like this pasta wrapped with a wrap or chicken wrapped pasta.
Chicken
Not
wrapped pasta. What?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at the menu, but it was really good. And then my cousin got like this fettuccine with like I guess like Alfredo. No, it wasn't Alfredo sauce. I don't know what the sauce was, but like mushrooms and some chicken in it too.
That sounds
So
great.
food is really good. It's a really small place. Like there's like a little small courtyard. There's like I guess an apartment complex maybe, and the restaurant is just like the first floor of this building. It's a really small
Oh,
place, but it was really good. The dude is really nice, like the owner.
yeah.
So that was good. And then the next day, she texted me asking, like, I guess my aunt and uncle were asking if I wanted to come over for the weekend. So our plan was to meet up on, it's like early in the week. We had a plan. We wanted to go hiking, right? And then it turned out that she had to work on Saturday, or Sunday. So she normally works Tuesday through Saturday. So she has Sunday and Monday off, but she has to work Sunday this week. So she's working right now. And the plan was that we would go hiking today, and because she had to work today, she thought, okay, well, let's try going hiking after work on Saturday, like at 5 or 6 o'clock. So we were gonna do that, and I went over to their place yesterday or on Friday, and my uncle, he was saying, oh, so I was thinking that we go to Boeing because my uncle works at Boeing. He was like, I was thinking we go to Boeing tomorrow. There's like a show. They have a lot of like old planes from like World War II that are gonna be flying around and stuff. So he's like,
That's
I want to do
awesome.
that, and I was like, shh, there. I don't. I guess the plans weren't relayed across to everyone. So the hiking plan kind of fell through because this particular day only happens once a year. So I was like,
Okay.
well, we're gonna be around for. I'm gonna be around for another 2.5 months. We can go hiking whenever. So I said, we'll do the air show. She has to work anyway. She doesn't have to rush or anything like that. So let's do hiking another weekend when she's not working on Sunday. So then my other cousin, she was like, she works at a bank, and she was only working till like 1. So she really wanted to go to the air show too. So the plan was that my uncle and aunt would go to. They had to go get some tile. They were looking for new counters for their kitchen. So Saturday morning, I just worked from their house, and then waited for them all to get back. The thing was that the air show started, I think, in the morning, and it was ending like at 5:30. And when we finally were able to leave, after my cousin got back home and everyone was ready, it was like 3:15, 3:20 when we left. We got there, it was like 3:30. Like people were leaving. There weren't too many planes going out anymore. I don't know if there was like any real like official setup for it. Like there's no like announce it. There's no one like saying what's going on. There's like no announcements or whatever. But we're
Yeah.
there. Like we see some planes taking off and stuff like that. So it was definitely cool to see. We brought binoculars and whatnot. You can see out in the distance. I can see like all these 787s that were like built and ready to be shipped off to a lot of different airliners.
That's really cool.
Yeah, man. And we were able to go inside, like see, like they have like a little like tour show, like they have like a warehouse and you can see like the different engines, like you can see the GE engines that they have as well as the Rolls-Royce engines that they use in the planes. I was amazed at how so like the engines are massive, right? And there's I think one of them was the GE engine. I was reading the sign. It says that there are 22 blades in each engine. Each blade cost $150,000. I was like, a blade, just one blade cost $150,000, man.
Yo, that's that special blade though.
That's a special blade, yeah. That better be a special blade. Be
That's
dropping
that special-
$155,000 on it, and I got to
special
get 22
blade.
of them.
Well, you don't have to get 22 of them,
Oh, I don't have to.
but if
telling
you
me
want 22,
I'm gonna be good with 20, Sandy. I'm gonna be good with 20.
you might be good with 20. I don't know what kind of plane you flying. I don't know where you're trying to go.
But no, it was really cool. It was really cool to see. I love airplanes. Like even when I go by airports now, I'm still fascinated by airplanes. And what I'm really excited for, he was saying that there's like a particular day every year. I think it's on a weekend where it's like anybody can go take a tour. Anybody could go to see the show that we saw. But he said that friends and family are invited on a certain day, like bring your kids to work, whatever day I guess, except it's not a work day. And you can actually go inside the hangars where they're building the planes, and normal tourists can't go that close. So I'm really excited for that one. He doesn't know what the date of that one is, but I'm really excited for it. Can't wait to see that.
Definitely do that. That sounds like a great thing to check out.
Yeah, it's a massive facility. They have like their own runway and everything like that. And he was showing me like the different hangars. So they have like 3 hangars, I think, where they build 747s, and they have a couple hangars for the 767s, 777s, and then the 787.
Don't they build the Airbuses too? The A380s?
I'm not sure. If they do, they don't do it there in Seattle.
Let me see. Boeing Airbus? I'm looking this up right now. Oh, Airbus is his own thing.
Okay, yeah. So
Competition between Airbus and Boeing has been characterized as a duopoly in the large jetliner market since the 1990s. Oh.
I can totally see that.
3 days ago, Airbus steals show with last-minute $14 billion whiz deal. They won the Paris Auto Show with a last-minute $14 billion deal to sell 110 jets to Hungary's Wizz Air. Wow. The deal, it's funny. The deal sealed in an all-night negotiating session with ordered-in pizza. Like, just so we're clear, dude, this meeting was intense. Why? We got that Meat Lovers pizza. It was a crowd favorite. It was a crowd pleaser. That's funny.
Yeah, right. So that was really cool, just to see everything. I was a little disappointed that we couldn't go earlier in the day, but it's, like I said, it was still really cool to see. Definitely enjoyed that. And then, what did we do after that? So I hung out so most of the time last weekend I was hanging out with my older cousin, and then I say older, like I don't mean to say that like she's old because she's not old, but the one who's older. And then this weekend I was hanging out with the youngest one because the other one was working a lot. So we went to it's like another like part of I guess Seattle, small town outside of Seattle called Kirkland, and they have like it's like right along a lake and stuff. So we got to like just walk along, see just see the area, go shopping a little bit, and that was nice. And after that we were supposed to see the movie, the Avengers movie, because I haven't seen that yet, and both my cousins really want to see it. So we go to the theater. And I guess there was a mix up. We thought it was going to be showing at this theater, but it's not. So we got there, they weren't showing it. And so we were like, all right, well, we can either go to find it at a different theater, but the problem is it didn't start till like 9 something, and she had to be in work like at 5 this morning. So we were like, all right, let's see something else. So I'm looking at the postings, and you had just shown me the trailer for Dope the day before. I hadn't even heard of this movie. I see Dope up there. I'm like, oh snap. We got to see Dope. I was like, well, I'm like, well, Dope's supposed to be a really good movie. And they're like, all right, let's see it. And I was like, awesome. Didn't even have to try to convince them. So we go see Dope. Fantastic movie. I absolutely loved it. I really like that movie a lot. Like,
what's that movie about?
So the movie is about this really young, like smart kid who lives in the hood. They live in where do they live? Like Compton or something. Okay. And He and his two friends, they love like 80s and 90s hip hop, mostly 90s hip hop. They love like the 90s style, so they dress like they're
Awesome.
the 90s. He's got the haircut from like Kid and Play.
Amazing.
When you watch the trailer for the movie, based on their clothes and the music that's playing, you think that the movie takes place in the 90s, and then you realize they got like cell phones. They're talking about like Bitcoin. The movie takes place like today. It's like 2015, 2014, and they just love that style. They love that era, and so he's a really really smart kid, young black kid, but growing up in the hood, and he dreams of going to Harvard. So basically, he has a meeting with a Harvard interviewer, and the night before he ends up going to this party, and ends up accidentally, or he doesn't know it, ends up in possession of this massive amount of Molly, and so he this long chain of events. So like he ends up like having to do this interview, and ends up with these drugs and has to figure out what to do. And like I said, he's a really smart kid, but at the same time ends up like in these bad situations because he's a geek, So
Like,
he gets picked on.
okay.
He gets picked on at school. He gets bullied. There are gangs around, stuff like that, and so they're trying. They try to avoid them, any way they can. He and his friends. They have
Yeah.
like a punk. They have like a little punk band. A punk band. So like he plays the guitar. His friend plays the bass. His other friend plays the drums. But it was a really good movie. I really liked it a lot, and maybe I feel like I relate to the character a lot.
Because you're
Like,
not.
young black kid, like you don't feel like you fit into any particular culture or stereotype, like
Right.
you see
That's
the
very
black
interesting
culture.
insight right there, actually.
Yeah, like you see the black culture. Like, so me, I spent my early, when I was really young, I lived in like more maybe not even super diverse schools, maybe more black schools, right? And then as I grew up, my dad got better jobs. We moved to different neighborhoods and stuff. All of a sudden, by high school, I'm the only black kid who graduated in our class. So
Really?
I was the only so we had there were a couple that moved, but they moved away by the time my
Oh, okay.
graduation. So I wasn't the only black kid in the school or anything like that, and I wasn't the only black kid in our grade. But by senior year, I was the only black one. So
Okay.
so many people see black culture in TVs and movies and music videos and stuff. They expect you to be they expect you to act a certain way. And if you don't act that way, then they're like, well, you're not black or whatever it is, And that always aggravated me. That always really bothered me.
It should.
Because why do I have to, so like to be black, you have to be dumb, you can't study, you're basically either you play sports, you rap, you like Dave Chappelle said, right, when he's talking to the kids in the hood. He's like, if you want to get up out of the hood, you better start selling drugs, you start rapping, you play basketball. You're stuck, is the only way out. Like,
Right. Right.
that's what people expect you to do, to act, to be, and they expect you to act a certain way, speak a certain way, and if you don't, then you're not that all of a sudden. Like the color of your skin is supposed to dictate
What kind of person
everything
you're
about
supposed to
you.
be.
Exactly. And it always really bothered me. And when I went to college, I had a lot of black friends too. And like it's such a and I shouldn't say that all white people feel this way, because like I said, in the movie, the kid's growing up in the hood. He's in the ghetto. Everyone that he goes to school with is black. And when he doesn't fit in, act the way that a lot of them do, whether they're in gangs or selling drugs and stuff like that, then they pick on him. They treat him a certain way. So it's like a weird thing where you don't fit in 100% with white culture, and you don't fit in 100% with the black culture. And when you don't
Right.
fit in, you're kind of like an outcast. And he was saying at the end of the movie, you when you don't fit in, you can really, it's kind of a blessing. You can observe both. You can observe all sides from multiple angles, and you can really see the world for what it really is. I just felt like he was a great actor. What's his name? But it was great acting. I love the story, and there's a lot like comedy in the movie too, and I think a lot of the jokes hit really well.
That's
So it's
good.
like a fun movie. It's like a funny movie.
But it's also like a
Shamik
coming of
Moore.
age movie, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Shamik Moore is his name. Yeah, really really solid movie. I really liked it a lot.
Good. I'm glad.
Definitely
Yeah,
gonna definitely
I
gonna see
remember
it again.
sharing it with you, the
Yeah,
trailer, but also just
yeah,
sort of on a whim because I didn't know anything about it either.
yeah, yeah. Definitely gonna see it again. If I don't see it in theaters, I'm definitely buying that movie when it comes out.
So let me ask you a question. Which sort of the fact that this movie resonated with you so well. How do you go about balancing sort of that view of like not? I guess I don't want to say that you don't feel like you fit in anywhere, culturally, but sort of straddling the expectation, if you will, of the white culture, I guess the predominantly white culture that we all live in, and
Yeah.
then the expectations of the black culture that your sort of skin dictates.
I think it's probably similar to how you feel too, right? And it's something that people maybe not realize that occurs with a lot of Asian Americans too. It's like there's certain people see you and they expect a certain thing from you. It's impossible not to like be prejudiced, to just prejudge somebody based on what they look like, their external appearances, and I think everybody of all races is going to do that. I think it's a mistake when you when not only when you prejudge somebody, but then when they don't act that way, then you say, oh, they're not that. So then all of a sudden, rather than saying, oh, he maybe I should rethink my perception of a particular race, you say, oh, he's just an outlier, or he's not just an outlier, he's just not that race anymore.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and yeah, like when I'm hanging out with like Asian family members or something, like they expect a very particular person because I'm Asian, but then they're always like, oh, like you grew up in America, so you wouldn't understand because you're an American.
yeah,
But like when I guess when white people look at me, they don't think like, oh, this dude's American.
right.
So I guess yeah. I mean, I guess I just try and stay true to who I am and know
Yeah,
that there's always going to be something that there's always going to be pressure to be something you're not, and it's just balancing when it's appropriate to be a certain thing, I guess, which sort of sounds really weird to say out loud, but I don't know. I think I'm pretty adept at balancing sort of social obligations.
yeah,
I don't know if that's the right
yeah.
word.
I definitely tried. I don't like to. I just do me, do you, boo boo.
Yeah.
I don't like to. I'm not gonna sit there and act like I'm something that I'm not. Um, I'm not gonna change the way I speak. Not gonna change the things that I'm doing. I just. I don't know. It's
You are who
I
you
guess
are.
hard for me to put. Yeah, it's hard to put in words. But if I'm not living up to the expectations that somebody has for me, and like they, I'm just not going to associate myself with them. It's
Right,
kind of
because who
simple.
are
It's kind of as
you?
simple as that.
Right, who are you to tell me who I need to be?
Right.
No, I definitely understand, and I think it's something that you have to learn as you get older, right? Just
Yeah.
you don't have to live up to other people's expectations, and I think in high school there's such a strong desire to fit in, right? So
Yeah.
you think to yourself, well, oh, I definitely need to just like the easiest way for me to be like make friends or get people to like me is just to stay within what they're comfortable. But then why is that? Why do I need to do what you want me to be?
Right. Yeah, and one thing I really hope that this movie does is kind of like I hope it makes people that are similar to Malcolm, the main character, feel more comfortable with who they are. Be comfortable in their own skin. If they don't fit in, it's okay. Especially like young black kids that feel like they have to, you have to be somewhat different. If it's okay to like I said, they like a lot of like old school hip hop and stuff, but they also have a punk band. They like a lot of different things. They're friends with a lot of different types of people. He's a really shy kid. He has a crush on this girl, but he doesn't really want to talk to her. He feels intimidated by ASAP Rocky. He's the big drug dealer in the movie. He feels intimidated by him when he's like calls him over. You don't want to like run away from him. So just
Wait, I'm sorry. The drug dealer's name is ASAP Rocky.
No. ASAP Rocky, the rapper, plays the drug dealer.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was
The
like,
rapper's name
what?
the rapper's name is I'm sorry, the drug dealer's name is Dominique.
Okay.
What's like Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious.
Love it. I was like, ASAP Rocky really got talked into becoming a drug dealer in this movie? Really?
Yeah, then I saw Zoe Kravitz,
Oh.
Lionel, Lenny Kravitz's daughter's
You
in the
getting
movie.
your L's mixed up.
What blew my mind though, when Lena told me that, she like looks familiar, right? I'm watching the movie, she looks so familiar, and like when I see the credits, I'm like, oh snap, I can definitely see her being Lenny Kravitz's daughter. But then Lena, she's like, oh, that's Denise's daughter from the Cosby Show, Denise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her real name, but that's
Good
her
enough.
daughter. And I was like, oh snap, that is her. She looks just like Denise, but I could definitely see Lionel Kravitz in her. Lenny. I keep saying Lionel. Come on, man. Lionel Richie.
Hello, is it me you're looking for? Boom!
But yeah, she was good in the movie too.
Oh, that's amazing. I
Yeah.
definitely have to check out this movie.
Yeah, like I was thinking. So you've seen City of God, right?
I have in bits and pieces. I don't think I've ever seen it like all the way
great
through.
movie. Okay, I
It's
kind
on
of
my to
feel
watch list.
it's not as serious as City of God, but it kind of reminded me of City of God. You know, young kid doesn't fit in very well with his environment, but he still, he just does him. You know, he does his own thing. He's a really nice kid and is able to make friends with people from, with other really nice people, or maybe like, kind of bad people, drug dealers,
Yeah.
gangsters, whatever it is. And I don't know, just go through his adventure over the few weeks of the movie. I think you'll really enjoy it. I wonder if everyone will feel the way I feel about the movie. Like if there are some people that are really not going to like it, but I don't know. From what I've read so far, people really enjoyed it. Like the Reddit, the movies, the subreddit movies, they really liked it.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. And that was really my weekend. I came home after that, fell asleep, got a ride home from my cousin today before she had to go into the city. But yeah, what about your week? Tell me about your week.
My week was really interesting. So I have a new boss. Because, well, sort of because of the old boss sort of getting let go. And so far, it's just been learning how to work together, and that's been sort of just requiring a lot of blunt conversations between my new boss and myself.
Yeah.
Because we had never worked together before, so we were just trying to understand like each other's philosophies, work styles. It's always a little bit of a growing pain to have to rebuild the team.
Did you know him beforehand?
Her, my new boss.
Her. Okay. Did you know her before?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we were good. We were friends, but based on the way that we were sort of staffed on projects, we never worked together.
Yeah.
So, it's one thing to be friends with somebody. It's another thing to like have to now report to somebody.
Yeah.
And the issue, not the issue, but sort of the challenges, for us were, how do we like to work together?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're definitely sort of figuring out how to go about doing that. And this week has been really good because we were just able to focus on getting work done.
Yeah.
And I think, her style of talking is just being very blunt with people, which I can appreciate. It just means that there's like less talk and just like more actual like work being done.
Right.
But with that bluntness, sometimes things can get misunderstood. And we were working on sort of saying what you actually mean. And she has this she has this tendency, I think is a better word, to go like, you remember like last year when Kanye would try and explain something that he would just go on these like tangents about things, and if you paid attention really carefully, you'd understand what it was trying to say.
Right.
But sort of just like require like the need to have to go on these huge, like pretty circuitous routes was really tiring. And when you're trying to like understand what somebody needs from you, it's like stressful because you're just trying to figure out like, oh, I need to just know what you want from me. But we've been able to get past that more with this week, just because we were finally starting to work on things.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
And for me, a huge part of it was taking the ego out of everything. Now I've been on this project for longer than than my past two bosses have been on it, so I felt a strong sense of ownership on the project.
Yeah.
But
Understandable.
she was teaching me this really good lesson of like, you should definitely really care about what you work on, but you have to take the emotion out of things. You're just here to do a good job. Like doing a good job should be the benefit, and not sort of feeling like you own everything, because that's an unhealthy way of working. I'm still working on it. I can't say I've totally mastered it in any sense, but she's definitely been able to give me a better perspective on things. And we brought on this intern. Her name is Datriana Meeks. She is an intern from one of the design schools. And because she went to school for this stuff and I haven't, I think my boss has sort of elevated her compared to me in hierarchy a little bit. And that sort of rubbed me the wrong way initially, because it's like, well, I'm the full-time employee and I've been on this project for
Since
longer.
like day one. Yeah.
So I would appreciate it if you didn't treat me like always referring to me as the most junior person on the team. She has a tendency to say stuff like, oh, well, that's okay, you don't know anything yet. And it's like, you can only hear that so many times before it starts to get on your skin a little bit. Like,
Totally.
I can appreciate what you're trying to say. You're trying to teach me how to, like, be a better designer or whatnot. But if you keep referring to me as someone who doesn't know anything, that's an ineffective way of communicating that idea. But overall, I was able to work more this week and have like more direct deliverables, so that helps me with sort of the transition on all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to be a lot more clear in how I present things, and she has a very particular way about working. So I've been learning sort of like how she likes to refer to things, how she likes to name her files. It's basically learning a new way to work.
Yeah.
And for me, the best way to do all that stuff is sort of like just like keep my head down and just work on it. And part of it is, like I said before, just like taking the ego out of things, realizing that you just have a lot to learn, and she means well. She definitely doesn't mean anything personally. But just that I've obviously got to learn, so that he's sort of like earning someone's respect, right?
You're right.
And that's gonna take some work, and I can't just expect that, even though I've been on the project the longest, So that's been the week that I've had. A little bit of some growing pains. I won't lie, it hasn't always been easy, but we're definitely getting there. I'd say we're definitely getting there. So I'm excited to see where this relationship will end up, and what kind of awesome skills I'll be able to learn from her. And I'm just sort of like understanding that, sometimes you're not going to be the top of the totem pole, and you've got to be okay with that, because from the company standpoint, this is a big project, and they need someone seasoned on it, so they can feel comfortable with what they're shipping.
Yeah.
And all this stuff makes sense, It's just sometimes maybe this is part of that whole like millennial thing with like, oh, you just expect things to happen. It's like, no, I don't expect anything. I think I thought I earned it, but I guess you just gotta work harder on actually earning it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I understand.
Yeah. But there was a bowling event which was pretty fun. It was like this thing where you raise money for like kids in inner city schools to teach them like how to like manage money, give them like employment opportunities. It's called Junior Achievement. So we had a bowling event in the week that was a lot of fun. Sort of like a nice diversion.
Yeah.
What else happened this week? I've been working out every day.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's really helped my mood, if you will. Um, I started working out last Sunday. Actually, last Saturday, maybe Saturday, Sunday. And I've been working out every single day. And sort of the immediate effects that I have felt are I'm definitely hungrier every day, which is like, I guess, kind of a good thing, right? Like, I haven't gained like a ton of weight in a sense. I can tell that my weight initially dropped 5 pounds. I got to about a buck 49, but then I realized that was either just water weight or like a little bit of fat. But now that I'm like lifting and doing like high intensity interval training as often as I am, I realize that like my body composition is changing. Like my roommate has his scale, and I remember weighing myself earlier, like sometime, let's just say like this time last year, and I
Yeah.
was at like 20% body fat, but like still sort of the same weight area region, right? Like 150 to 160 in that
Right.
area. But this like yesterday I was like 13% body fat, and I can tell that my body's getting like thinner. So that's exciting. That's
Yeah.
definitely some like tangible results that I can really pin this to. So it keeps
Yeah.
it's
That's
definitely
awesome.
a easy. Yeah, thank you. It's definitely an easy way to keep me going and motivated.
Yeah.
Like I rested on Friday of this week, and I was able to like go out and grab dinner with a friend and just catch up because we haven't spoken in a while. But this way, like if I rested on Friday, um, then Saturday what I did was I lifted in the morning, sort of standard ritual, and then I also what am I saying? I did another like I did it 2 a day basically. I did a lot of like cardio and stuff at night,
Yeah.
and that was like a good 2 hours in the evening. Now I know you're not really supposed to do cardio if you're like trying to like bulk up, but I really don't know what I'm trying to do right now. I
Hey,
think
I'm with you, man.
it's like a nice mix. I think I'm just trying to like get rid of body fat, and I think the best way to do that is just by lifting.
And just
Um,
stay healthy too, right? You know?
yeah, like you got to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm just happy that I'm seeing results. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to get
that's
like, you know, I'm trying to get the best beach body I can in the amount of time that I have.
yeah.
To be honest with you, one of the major motivations for my sort of recent change in activity and intensity is that my trip to San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
Uh, we
Coming up soon.
It's coming up very soon. Yeah. We've been talking about sort of like our plans. I'm just meeting up with an old friend who I haven't met in a long time, and I just wanted to look my best in a sense because we hadn't seen each other in a little bit. Uh, and so I've been able to just like even like on like nights or something when I come home from work and I'm very tired.
Yeah.
It's the right kind of motivation to keep me going to say, hey, listen, don't give up. It's meant to be hard. If it was worth it, anyone could do it. It's just like small things that keep me going. So
Yeah. No, that's good.
I'm also trying to fit into slim pants, man. You know, uh, I'm trying to get my calf size down. I was blessed with huge calves, right? But I want them to be like more toned. My calves are like just they're basically Christmas hams. So I'm trying to get them nice and toned so that I can start to wear slim pants because I look good in slim pants. I'm not going front.
I don't think I'll ever. I would never fit into slim pants. My quads and calves are way too big, and like
Yeah,
that's
my
like
quads
the
are.
muscle size of them too, not just like fat. They're just
Yeah,
I'm very comfortable with them.
you like your quads. I love my quads too. I'm trying to get them more sculpted. I'm trying to just basically like melt as much fat off my body as possible.
Yeah,
Definitely watching what I eat, knowing that if you're eating a lot of like carbs or something, to definitely find the time to burn them off later.
yeah,
But it's all good. I'm still having fun with it. So
That's good. That's that's good.
Yeah. So I think
If
overall
you
my week was pretty good. I'd say.
Yeah, that's good then.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say it's always good. Like if you can enjoy going to the gym and enjoy working out, man. Like that's it's
Yeah.
perfect. It's really perfect. My girlfriend Lena, she's really enjoying going to the gym, and you know, from circumstances, the situation that she's in right now, she can't go as often as she likes. So if she can't go, she gets really upset, like disappointed. Uh, and like I love that motivation. Like if you feel like if you don't go to the gym, you feel like you just didn't do enough that day, and that's good.
Yeah. And I can tell my mood is getting better. I'm able to be less emotional about dumb stuff.
Hmm.
I also can tell that like I feel more energized in the morning.
Yeah.
Uh, like I don't wake like it forces me to go to bed earlier too. Like I'm not staying up till
Oh
two or
yeah.
three in the morning. I'm not playing as
Yeah.
much video games. I mean, you know this. Like,
Yeah.
this past week, I've always said like, oh, like during the day, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely signing on. I'm definitely signing on. But
Hmm.
then after I work out, it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it easy. Maybe watch an episode or two and then go to bed. And then I'm in bed by midnight. Uh, and I just am able to get that sleep, knowing that sleep is so important to sort of the recovery process.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah, I'm trying to live. At least this past week, I've lived a much healthier lifestyle than I normally am accustomed to living.
Hmm.
I've definitely seen the tangible benefits of it. So I'm glad it's not something that I've sort of given up on like a day or two in. Like, oh, like I didn't see results immediately, so this is clearly not working. It's like, oh no, you actually have to realize that things take a little bit of time in this world to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
My skin on my face has broken out less. It was funny. My mom has sent a picture to me when I went to go celebrate my dad's like lifetime achievement award.
Hmm.
Um, Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Yeah.
Again,
Happy
to
Father.
all the
Yeah.
good dads out there. Keep doing what you do. Uh, but it was funny because my mom sent me this photo and was like, "Oh man, I look great in that new suit that I got and everything." Yeah, my
Yeah.
mom goes, "Yeah, if your face didn't look so bad." I was like, "Oh Jesus!" She's going, "You just gonna do me like that?" That is ruthless, man. That's my mom for you.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Uh, what did you have you done anything or called your dad yet or?
No. No. I have to. Basically, I got up this morning. What, like 8 o'clock my time here.
Gotcha.
Um, left there like at 9:30. Got here and then basically started this podcast. So I'm gonna call. I'm gonna go for a short walk. I think after this, make some calls.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
oh. I didn't tell you this. My two older brothers, they went to see Kevin Hart this weekend in Chicago. They
what?
said, "Yeah, man, he was in Chicago this weekend. The new tour, the new show. They said it was
Yeah.
hilarious. They said it was hilarious. I was
Oh,
saying
we
how.
gotta go.
So you know me. I didn't get my ticket. I didn't get a ticket for the show in Philly, which is August 30th, because I wasn't sure if I'd be, if I was going to be doing an internship, because this is way before I had this internship, and I didn't know when to be back. I get back the day before the show, and the official tickets I think are almost all sold out, if not all sold out.
The
But
weekend
on
StubHub.
on SeatGeek, I was, yeah, StubHub probably too. I was looking at SeatGeek because a lot of the podcasts that I'm listening to, they're hyping SeatGeek, so I checked them out, and there are some tickets. I don't remember how much. I don't know how big of a difference there is. Like, I know that the seats up front they were selling for like 100 some, and they're like 200 now. But I wonder about like some of the other sections if they're a good deal or not. So I still need to talk to Lena because I don't know if we can make it or if it's still reasonable to go, because we're doing the Europe trip right after that, and I'd probably
Oh,
would
gotcha.
rather spend that $200-300 in Europe and enjoy my
Yeah.
time there and just see the show whenever it comes out on DVD or something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. Something to think about at least. Worst case scenario, we can get seats way up like the nosebleeds for like $40 each.
Is
As
it
long as
worth
we're
it
still
at
there
that
and can
point?
hear it. I don't know. Like, you can still see it on the screen. What's the difference between sitting in the nosebleeds and sitting like 2 sections down when you're still not going to be able to see him very clear? Like, he'll still look like a dot out on like the 50-yard line or whatever, wherever he's going to be standing. He'll be it, it, it I don't really know what the screen, like I've never been to Lincoln Financial Field, so I don't know how good of like the TV screens they have there, if it's easy for everyone to see around. But like as long as you can hear everything and you can see at some point, it should still be good, right?
I see.
I
The
don't
thing
know.
is, if you're gonna pay all that money to see him on a screen, then I'd rather
Yeah,
just
I know.
watch it on
Then
Netflix.
it's like wait, right? Exactly. You just wait for it to come out later on, and that might be the case. I don't know how long it takes them to. I don't know how long it'll be for them to film this, because that's the show that's getting filmed, the Lincoln Financial. So between August 30th and what, maybe winter release, you think? Like I don't know how long it takes them to like edit
Yeah, I don't know
and like
what his
distribute it.
release schedule, what he plans on his release schedule being. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna guess sometime in winter, because I think that's what happened last time. I think he did his shows in the summer, and then it came out in theaters in the winter, but could be wrong. But yeah, exactly. Like if I'm gonna be paying $40 to see it on screen, all I'm really paying for, like that's per person. All I'm really paying for is just the ability to hear the jokes and see it earlier. That's it.
yeah, I don't know if that's worth it.
Yeah, I'm a little so Bill Burr's doing a tour, and he's going like it's a West Coast tour. He's
Yeah,
not. He's not coming to Seattle, man. He's going to Portland, but he's not going to Seattle. So he's not coming close enough. If he
how
was
far
coming to
is
Seattle, I would.
Portland?
Portland, if I drove there, I'd guess like 3 or 4 hours, maybe.
When's the
But I
tour?
don't. I think it's happening now. I think he already did Portland, because I think he did his podcast on Thursday from Portland.
Okay.
Yeah, checking his site, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's in California this week, Fresno, Bakersfield, Highland, California. So, yeah, probably ain't gonna be happening. But it'd be awesome if he came up here, because I'd love to see Bill Burr in person.
I know he's definitely trying out new material right now for his new
Yeah,
hour.
he knows how to work a crowd really well. You know,
Oh
even
yeah.
even if he's doing a joke that's just bad and it's not going well, I think he knows how to, like, he's very good at recovering. Whereas what I've been hearing about Chappelle at times, and I've seen Chappelle twice now, and he's been hilarious both times, but from what it seems like, he's still not very comfortable when things aren't going the way he wants them to go, if that makes any sense.
Doesn't that sound like a really rookie thing though?
Yeah, it does.
Like,
there
was Hartsfield that? I mean, I can't speak for the guy, but was Hartsfield that traumatizing for him?
Oh, Hartford.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so he did. That was his comeback tour, right? And I don't know how bad it was, but when he came to Camden a couple of weeks after that, he was hilarious. He was great. And then when we saw him in New York City last year, he was awesome. He was doing a tour, I think this spring in Detroit, and I think one of the shows did not go well at all. I think he got there late, and then there were people that were, they were enjoying the comedy, but then there were a couple of people that were like booing or heckling him, and apparently he left like half an hour into the show, and he started like basically like it was like Hartford all over again. So
Yeah, I don't know if that's quote unquote professional, you know?
yeah, and it's yeah, exactly, for sure. And also it's kind of hard to like you there's no video of this, so we don't really know exactly what was going on. You hear these people blog about it or whatever, and they feel like they were ripped off, like everyone feels ripped off, so they're going to make it seem as negative as possible. But
I mean, but
at
you
the
paid
same
for a
time,
whole show, though.
exactly,
You didn't pay for
me,
half a
yeah,
show.
that's the thing, right? I paid for a show, and you're a professional. If shit's not going right, you gotta, how to.
That's on
like,
you.
That's what I say. Like Bill, yeah. There, we see comedians deal. You hear comedians deal with hecklers all the time. Like they're supposed to be good at this, and if I'm spending like $60 to $100 to see Chappelle, I want to see Chappelle's whole bit. I don't, or his whole routine. I don't want to hear half it or a quarter of it and hear him complaining about people. Like, I'm sure if he was up there for half an hour, he wasn't doing half an hour of jokes. Like, he may have done
Right.
like 15, 20 minutes of jokes, talked to those people that were bothering him for some time, and then just left. So it couldn't have been a great experience at all.
It's unfortunate. It really is, because
Yeah.
he is still one of the greats, you know? Like,
Yeah.
the 2 HBO specials that are on YouTube, hysterical.
Yeah.
And by no means am I saying that those are the only ones that are out there, but I mean,
Right.
Dave Chappelle is a known quantity in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just disappointing. I had a lot of fun at that Chappelle show that we went to.
Oh yeah, in New York City.
Yeah, that
Yeah, it
was
was
a lot
awesome.
of fun that night.
It was really fun. Like Hannibal opened for him. That was great.
That was very surprising. And at
Yeah.
that point, still wasn't a huge Hannibal fan, but
Oh, no?
he was so funny. I mean, I bought the hour afterward. Or no,
Yeah.
you bought the hour. I bought the Louis C.K. Right? How
Oh
did it
yeah,
go?
yeah. That's how it went. Yeah, I got the hour. Yeah, I had the Hannibal, and you got the
Yeah.
Louis C.K. We just traded that.
I think you and I are all of the same mindset now, where it's like we're just paying for stuff now because we appreciate it.
Yeah, and I feel like I can afford it. You know.
Yeah, what's $5? And you're
Yeah.
supporting.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
supporting
that's great.
someone.
Yeah, the $5 distribution matter, like directly from the comedian, is an awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I know we touched a little bit about what we're watching and reading, but anything else you want to bring up?
No, I listened to the Big Sean album a couple times this week.
Dark Sky
Listened to
Paradise.
yeah.
He sounds a lot like this is gonna be weird to say it, but he sounds a lot bigger on the album. When you watch some of his like live recordings or live, I guess live shows,
Yeah.
his voice is a little bit higher, and he's a skinny, small dude.
Yeah.
So it's just funny, like when he tries to be like when he tries to be really hard on the album, you can be like, oh, okay, like I can get it, the bravado, the confidence, I like it. But in
Yeah.
person, it's like, dude, you're a pretty small dude to be saying some of this stuff.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm not saying you can't say that stuff. I'm just saying you're small, dude. That's all.
I listened to Shaq podcast, caught up on that. There were
Yeah.
only like three episodes, so we caught it when it was basically brand new, so there wasn't much to catch up on. So yes, keeping up with the podcast thing, or like the podcasts in general that I listen to. I love podcasts, and like my commute now, which is funny, is it's much longer than back home, so I'm able to listen to like the whole Monday morning podcast, Bill Burr's podcast, in one day, whereas it would normally take me 2 days to listen to it when I'm at home.
Yeah, I usually save that stuff now for after work, like when I'm playing video
Yeah.
games, and I just need
Oh,
something
okay.
like on in the background.
Yeah.
I just find that I focus too hard on listening to the podcast at work, and it just ends up like
I see.
distracting me more.
Yeah, I hear you. I struggle a little bit to listen to the podcast if I try to game. So if I'm not gonna listen to the game, I'll listen to music. And then at work, I don't like to listen to podcasts because I'm either listening to the podcast and not working enough, or I'm working too hard and I'm not listening to the podcast and I'll have to
Yeah.
rewind too much. So I mostly just listen to music when I'm at work as well. I listen to podcasts just when I'm commuting. That's basically it.
Right. No, that's because you're a captive audience.
Yeah.
So you're able to zone out, but when you're zoning out, you're focusing on the podcast.
Mhm.
And to have that time dedicated is really, really nice.
Yeah.
Are you like reading anything? Are you watching anything?
Well, Game of Thrones finished. It was a good finale.
Great
that
finale.
That shame scene was hard to watch.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
I won't like go into more details, especially people haven't watched it yet. But
Yeah, but
I just said,
for
I will
those who
say that
haven't
was hard
watched
to
it,
watch.
You have no excuse now. What's funny is at work, like everyone, we work in an open floor plan.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy who sits next to me, the first thing we do on Monday morning is like, did you watch it? Did you watch it? I was like, yeah, I totally watched it. And then people around us are like, oh, you can't talk about it, spoiler alert. So my funny thing is I just walk in, I just say spoiler, but I start talking about it.
Yeah.
People are like, that's not how spoiler alerts work. I go, oh, really? That's how I thought they worked. But yeah, it was a great ending. Silicon Valley had a great ending too.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know
that's a
if you
show I do
watched
not
it.
watch. No, I don't watch that show.
I think you'd really appreciate it. It's hysterical. It's only 30 minutes. It's very tech heavy,
Yeah.
and it's very on point with the types of characters and like the types of people they're making fun of. Basically, what I found is like how like being like in technology right now is like the new like cool thing to be.
Yeah.
It's like it's sort of like the nerds in high school who didn't get the respect they wanted are now becoming the jocks and the popular kids, and they're just sort of like
Yeah.
turning the tables on everyone. It's like, don't you remember how you felt being treated as like someone who like didn't get respect? It's like to turn around and just like shit on other people is not really the best thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Regardless, I mean, tonight HBO's lineup tonight is gonna be big.
All right. Yeah, you said
We
that
have
with their
True
new
Detective
lineups.
season 2. That's gonna be big.
Oh, that's tonight.
Yeah.
I still gotta watch season 1, man.
You still haven't watched season 1?
No, I still haven't watched season 1.
The good news about True Detective season 1, first of all, amazing. Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, their chemistry is phenomenal, and I think you'll really like the dark subject matter.
Yeah.
And it takes place in like a really fun environment, like the backwoods of Louisiana, like just always a little bit uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And then, but the storyline in season 1 is totally unconnected to season 2. Season 1 is its own storyline for 8 episodes.
I see.
It's definitely binge worthy. But Ballers tonight, right? That basically, to me, it's a new Entourage.
Yeah.
And then there's that other show. I think it's like The Button or the one with Tim Robbins and Jack Black.
Yeah.
It's like a new Veep.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. What am I listening to this week? Let's see. I've been making my way through Drake's stuff again. So that's what I'm listening to from a music standpoint. I was listening to Logic. Remember how I told you I really like that Logic rapper?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I was reading all these reviews about his like first studio album, and people were dissing on him a little bit because they're saying like he's just a really good imitator. He doesn't really bring anything like new to the game. And I go, that's kind of true, I guess. Like Big Sean, J. Cole, and Drake, they're similar, but they all bring something a little bit different, right? So you can appreciate the nuance and style based on the fact that we listen to a good amount of rap and different kinds of rap. So that was interesting. We talked about what we're watching this week. I finished Frankie and Gracie on Netflix. That was a lot of fun to finish. So I've been making my way through Daredevil. I just feel like I'm like 2 weeks behind everyone in the Netflix world.
No, I hear you. You haven't started Orange is the New Black. I haven't. I've only seen 2 episodes of that. I really need to get more time to just watch them. That's kind of the thing. So like I'm hanging out with my cousins a lot on the weekends, but like the time that the weekends are normally the time that I'd be able to watch a lot of these shows. I haven't finished Peaky Blinders. I've basically been at a standstill ever since I came to Seattle on that show. Still got to watch Peaky True Detective and all that stuff. Oh, I've been meaning to watch The Newsroom for the last year. Haven't watched that last season yet.
Okay. The good news is I mean, I know you're out there right now, but the amount of quality programming is we're hitting a nice lull. So
yeah.
And what's interesting is Orange is the New Black. The internet didn't blow up over it this year, this season.
Yeah. I think people were disappointed with season 2. Season 1 was really, really fun. Was really good, and I don't think people like season 2 as much, which probably drew from people's excitement for season 3. I mean, I can probably say it already. That's probably the reason why I haven't binged season 3 already. Somebody tried to say that they're watching they're it's a show that's really good when you binge watch it, and it's kind of not so much if you don't watch episode after episode after episode.
Which is interesting that that's a way that people are sort of creating these shows. like in
Yeah.
the mind that you're going to be watching it one after another. So it's like it's a pretty subtle change in storytelling styles.
Yeah, you could see it working really well with like House of Cards. That's a show that you really binge watch as well. And Netflix is actually trying. I think there's what we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. They're doing a show. They're doing a weekly show.
Yeah.
With what's her name? There's one of these girls from like one of the Nickelodeon shows. I don't remember her name, but I guess testing like it's probably a different style of writing that you have to take when you're writing them, and it's kind of interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, people come to Netflix with like a very particular program delivery schedule in mind, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
But anyways, I did pick up a new book.
Oh yeah.
All the Light We Cannot See. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning book that everyone's been talking about. It's on all the lists. It's basically about a blind French girl and this German boy whose paths cross in World War II in France. And it's like each chapter they alternate the viewpoints. It's a little bit like Game of Thrones.
Okay.
But I just started reading it. It's very engrossing. I really appreciate the writing style. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
I love a good book, you know.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to really focus on like pleasure reading in a long time, but knowing like all these trips that are going to be happening for me, that like reading on a plane or just reading like with the express intent of just enjoying a good story is always really exciting.
I hear you. Speaking of Pulitzer Prize winners, did you know that we talked about Wesley Morris from Grantland? Did you were saying the pretentious guy? I didn't know he's a Pulitzer Prize winner for criticism. Yeah, dude.
For what?
For criticism in 2012 for his smart, inventive film criticism distinguished by pinpoint prose and an easy traverse between the art house and the big screen box office.
Oh, okay. So he's able to give like commentary on all types of movies. Is that what they're saying?
I think so. His ability to like maybe give a I guess his reviews of movies, like, you know, for their art style as well as maybe entertainment value.
I mean, I agree that he's able to review a lot of movies.
But you still think it's pretentious?
I don't. It's sort of like I think sometimes he gets mixed up with what the movie's like, not goal, but desired audience. I think sometimes he expects a lot from. I think he was reviewing some like Fast and the Furious movie, and he was just talking about how absurd it is. I go, yeah. When you go into a movie like that, you expect that the laws of physics and gravity are not the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's okay.
No, I hear you.
I like him with the older white gentleman on that show. I think they play off each other really well.
But you still don't like what's his name? Rempert.
I mean, Rembert. I think Rembert is like Grantland's attempt at going after a super young audience, but sometimes Rembert's a little too young. And by young, I mean not immature. That's not what I mean. I guess what I'm trying to say is Rembert's like like some kid who's trying really hard to be cool.
Yeah, I've never listened to his podcast or anything. I've only heard Rempert on when he's interviewed by Bill Simmons.
Okay.
But that's it. Still disappointed that Bill Simmons is no longer affiliated with ESPN. Or like his contract still goes until September, but they're not like all of his programming is now ceased to basically exist. There are no more new BS reports. And we're not going to hear anything from Bill Simmons until at least September.
Right.
But Grantland will still exist just without him, and his podcast. I don't think his next podcast won't be able to call it. They're not going to be able to call it the BS Report.
Yeah, I mean he'll come up with something new.
It was a great name for a podcast, though. I really like the BS Report.
Yeah. He'll have to get a little inventive, but I trust him and his ability to create a new media empire. Supposedly, the main talks right now is that he's going to move to HBO.
Yeah, I've heard HBO. I've heard people speculate that he might go to Sports Illustrated, or he just might do his own thing. Just
I don't know
because
if
he might have
Sports
enough. He might have
Illustrated
enough.
would be the right move. I don't know if that platform is
exactly.
as respected as it used to be.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's interested in going to another like large media kind of giant, like a sports media giant, where they could basically tell him what to do, because he's a man who's always done really well on his own. He's kind of he's never like follow the crowd. He basically he follows the beat of his own drum, and it's kind of a bad thing, especially with ESPN, because, and you and I agree, like, as much as I like him, I can totally understand why ESPN has a problem with a lot of the things that he says.
Right, because you can never be bigger than the company.
Exactly, and he thought he was bigger than the company, or maybe I feel like he thought he was bigger than the company, or maybe he just didn't care. But he does. I think he has a large enough following that he could do well on his own. But yeah, HBO would be great for him. I think, you could say exactly what he wants to say, and maybe his following's big enough for HBO.
Yeah, somebody was saying that Yahoo was going after him too. Basically, any major like news provider or content platform is going after him because of the amount of traffic that he drives. And I wonder how much talent he's going to try and poach. Similar to like when Dan Patrick left, right? He was just like, oh, like you can't talk to anyone, you can't poach anyone, but still, like, you're going to go after people and as close to the legal line as possible.
Right.
But if you're kind of trying to build your own practice and you've got these superstars that you're looking to bring, then you're definitely going to try and bring them.
Yeah. Yeah, he talked about that. It was a Shaq podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I can imagine Bill Simmons doing something very similar to that.
Yeah, for sure. And I wonder how many of the people from like Grantland would be willing to follow him. Like, I wonder if Wesley would go, if Rampart would grow.
I think if they're smart, they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think...
So I wonder, like, I assume this gap in between, at Grantland, between Bill Simmons being there and not being there, but not doing anything yet. I wonder if this is like, if they'll be able to see enough of like the traffic, like the trends in traffic. Like, I wonder if the traffic to Grantland has dropped significantly since Bill Simmons left, and if like Wesley and if Wesley and the other like writers and editors at Grantland feel like they're not being heard anymore, and at that point, is it worth leaving to either go with Bill Simmons or go somewhere else where they feel like they may be respected, or hey, maybe they're doing just fine at Grantland, because I really don't know. I never go to their site too often. I don't like read a lot of their long form articles, which I know they have plenty of.
Right. I mean, like when when Bill Simmons did the action hero, like when he rated the best action heroes, like those are some of the best articles I've read on the internet in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I kind of miss it.
I did read those ones.
Yeah, I think that's all I have for this week.
Yeah, same here.
I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
Yep.
We're still on Shout Engine?
Yeah, we're on Shout Engine, but haven't really done too much work, to be honest, to upload our older podcasts. So
yeah, we're still working on it.
I'll try to work on that. But we're on Shout Engine, so they can be downloaded there. They can be listened to there, and they will be on iTunes hopefully soon.
Yeah, and if to all of our listeners out there, if you have any feedback you'd like to give us, we're all ears. We're always trying to make this thing a little bit better. So feel free to leave a comment under this video, or if you're a friend, send us a text or an email telling us how to get our butts in shape for this thing.
And comment. There's also a comment section on Shout Engine as well. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. However you're enjoying this little piece of content that we're creating, feel free to be as brutally honest as you want. We're this could be the beginning of something really interesting for us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it.
All right. Well, I'm Reza.
I'm Sandy. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week.